Hello again, friends, and welcome to another edition of Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan. We had a lot of action this past weekend in Bronco athletics, so let's waste no more time and get right to it. Volleyball completed a home sweep over the weekend, defeating Northern Illinois and Miami to close out the MAC regular season on a 6-match winning streak. The win over Northern Illinois clinched an outright MAC West title for the Broncos, their fourth in the last 6 years, and the win over the Red Hawks clinched the 8th straight 20-win season for the Broncos under Colleen Munson. The Broncos will enter the 2012 MAC tournament as the 3rd seed. Hockey completed a sweep of their own this weekend, taking both games from the Bowling Green State Falcons in a home-and-home series. WMU opened up a 3-1 win on Friday night at Lawson Ice Arena, with Chase Ballacy providing the eventual game winner with a shorthanded goal in the second period. The game at Bowling Green would prove to be much closer, with the Broncos needing a shootout to earn the win over the Falcons. Dennis Brown and Shane Birschbach both scored in the shootout to seal the win. Shane Klipfeld became the first Western Michigan women's basketball coach to win his debut on the bench in 30 years as the Broncos defeated American 57-53 at University Arena on Saturday. The Broncos outscored the Eagles 32-16 in the paint and forced 24 turnovers to make the difference in the win. Corey Buchanan and Jessica Jessing each finished with a team-high 13 points. Eric Monette continued his impressive touchdown streak with a pair of scores on Saturday, but the football team was unable to overcome Buffalo in falling 29-24 on the road. Alex Carter returned to game action for the Broncos and finished with 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Monette and 1 to Kendrick Roberts, the first of his career. The Broncos will play their final game of the season this week against Eastern Michigan. A little later on the show, we will have Western Michigan's Director of Sports Marketing, Elaine Russell, talking about some of the promotions coming to that game. Men's basketball made its 2012-13 season debut on Saturday, pushing Cornell to the limit before falling 63-55 to the Big Red in Ithaca. The Broncos were paced by Shane Whittington, who recorded a double-double of 15 points and 13 rebounds, and freshman Jared Klein recorded 12 points. The Broncos will be back in action with 4 games this week, starting with Marygrove at University Arena. And the women's tennis team wrapped up its 2012 fall season this past weekend at the WMU Super Challenge hosted at West Hills Athletic Club in Kalamazoo. Maggie Raminzi was part of 2 championship efforts this past weekend. She teamed with Kelsey King to win the Flight 4 doubles backdraw and would go on to win the Flight 6 singles backdraw with a victory on Sunday. The Broncos will be back in action in January when dual match season begins. And now let's take a look at some of the highlights from this past weekend. Women's basketball taking on Trine in the final exhibition game of the preseason, and it would in fact be all Broncos in this game. A.J. Johnson had 13 points for the Broncos. Ariel Anderson threw in 10. Jasmine Knowles would have 4 assists, but here she is forcing one of the 29 turnovers the Broncos forced Trine into and then laying it up in transition. The Broncos would defeat Trine by the huge score of 85-39. Bronco volleyball looking to clinch an outright MAC West title, taking on the Northern Illinois Huskies. The Broncos would come back from a 1-0 deficit to take the final 3 sets in the match. Stephanie Yancey would be on fire for the Broncos. Here we'll see in the second set, Allie Gosen ripping one down line. The Broncos would defeat Northern Illinois 3-1, claim their 4th MAC West title in the last 6 seasons. Bronco hockey taking on the Bowling Green State Falcons at Lawson Ice Arena on Saturday. Big, juicy rebound for Dane Walters in the first period. He would slip it past the goaltender to give the Broncos a 1-0 lead. Now the Broncos leading 2-1 in the second period. And Kenny Morrison going to rip it from the point. Lifts it over the shoulder of the goaltender. The Broncos would defeat Bowling Green 3-1 on Friday night. They would play again on Saturday in Bowling Green. The Broncos would win in a shootout. Bronco women's basketball taking on American in the 2012-13 season opener. Head coach Shane Klipfeld looking for his first career victory as a Bronco. Miracle Woods would hit the layup here, and the Broncos would take down the American Eagles. Jessica Jessing, the freshman, in her first collegiate game, would score a game-high 13 points. She would be named the College Sports Madness MAC Player of the Week as the Broncos defeated American 57-53. Bronco volleyball would close things out on the weekend, taking on the Miami Redhawks, looking for their 20th win of the season. The Broncos have never finished with fewer than 20 wins under head coach Colleen Munson. Stephanie Yancey puts down the kill. She had a fantastic weekend for the Broncos, both against the Huskies and the Red Hawks. And Taryn Norris would add some offense of her own. She doesn't just set the ball, she'll spike it as well. Here's Norris to Jessica Brown. Brown puts it away. She would finish with an average of nearly 4 kills a set this weekend, and she'll ring the victory bell as the Broncos bring home their 20th victory of the season. All right, folks, welcome back. We are now joined by Western Michigan's Director of Sports Marketing, Elaine Russell, and she is going to tell us about some of the promotions that will be coming to Kalamazoo over the course of the season. So, Elaine, we have a football game this weekend against Eastern Michigan. What's on tap for that?
Well, it's our last home game of the year. Actually, it's the last game of the season for the Broncos, but we always do Senior Day. So we'll be honoring our football seniors prior to the start of the game. And then this Saturday is also Salute for Veterans Day. Since we had Veterans Weekend this past weekend, we'll be honoring some local veterans and military from the community throughout the game. And so that'll be a great opportunity for us to recognize those that are on campus and in the community.
Well, looking a little bit further down the road as well, we will have women's basketball this week at University Arena, and then next week we'll have volleyball against Dayton. So tell us about some of the promotions that will be coming to University Arena.
Well, like you said, the women's basketball team is taking on Albany this Sunday. Should be a great game. Our women is coming off a win over the weekend, Shane Clipfield's first win, so that'll be fun to watch them come back to University Arena game. But we're doing post-game autographs. We're going to try to do more of that, get the players out in the community and get them engaged with our fans. So that'll take place after the game. And then Friday, when we host volleyball, it's Friday night, family night, so it's $1 admission, $1 hot dogs, $1 popcorn. Those games have been going over swimmingly with our fans. They love to come out and support volleyball, but I think that family atmosphere that we have created with the $1 admission, it just really makes it family affordable. And prior to the game, we'll be doing a Pinterest party. Pinterest is the new craze, so we've come up with a few crafts that kids can do for, maybe make some Christmas presents or holiday presents for their families. So that'll be taking place before the game. I noticed you did the Storify from the Western Michigan Northern Illinois volleyball match last week. Why don't you tell our fans a little bit about that? Yeah, we did. We try to get our students to chat or to tweet, our student fans to tweet about the game during the match, and so then we collected all those tweets and put them in what's called a Storify story, and we probably had a couple dozen tweets, and it just was from a fan perspective, and you can read them in chronological order, just getting excited about Bronco volleyball. It was either a shout out to a certain player, a shout out to Buster Bronco, or a shout out to us in sports marketing, and we just collected all those and put them together, and it was just kind of fun to put them all in one place and read them like a story. Now, a little bit down the road, I know we have a big day for the men's basketball team. They'll be taking on Oakland University on December 1st, and I understand you have a lot planned for that one. We do have a lot planned. It's Oakland University, in-state rival. Great. It'll be a great game on the basketball court, but we're going to put a lot into it. There'll be a lot going on around the game that has nothing to do with the game itself, but we're bringing back the mascot game, so Buster Bronco's inviting all sorts of local mascots to come play at halftime with him, so that'll be fun. We have different businesses participating in that, and then we're also doing a huge residence hall competition. It's called Halapa Hoopla, and so we're doing a contest between the res halls to see who can bring the most attendance, and we got some great prizes to give out throughout the game, including some great grand prizes for the winning hall. Now, I'm sure a lot of the people that watch Bronco Sports Weekly already know this, but if they want to follow WMU sports marketing and know what's going on with all these promotions, where would be the best place for them to look? Best place to look is to follow us on Twitter at WMU Bronco Fans, or to like us on Facebook at Western Michigan University Athletics. All right, Elaine, thank you very much. All right, thank you. All right, folks, here's what I'm watching for this weekend. Men's basketball will have 4 games this week, starting with their 2012-13 home opener against Marygrove at University Arena on Tuesday night. From there, the Broncos will travel to Tampa, Florida to take part in the South Florida MTE, where they will take on Loyola Chicago, Maryland Eastern Shore, and the hosting South Florida Bulls. Check WMUBroncos.com for the out-of-town coverage and listen on the Bronco Radio Network for all 3 games this weekend.
Women's basketball will have a pair of games this week, beginning with a trip to Milwaukee to take on the UW-Milwaukee Panthers on Wednesday evening. The Broncos return home to face the Albany Great Danes in a Sunday afternoon tilt. Head coach Shane Klipfel will look to take what has already been a good start to his head coaching career and make it a great one. Volleyball will compete at the 2012 MAC tournament this weekend, with their quest for a MAC championship beginning against the Central Michigan Chippewas on Friday afternoon at 1:30. All matches at the tournament will feature live stats courtesy of macsports.com. Again, that is mac-sports.com. Hockey, winners of 5 of their last 7, will make their annual voyage to the land of the midnight sun this weekend when they take on Alaska on Friday and Saturday nights. You may want to grab a couple Red Bulls because the puck drops at 11:35 p.m. Kalamazoo time. Both games will be featured on the Bronco Radio Network. And football will play its final game of the season this week when they host the Eastern Michigan Eagles at Waldo Stadium on Saturday. Indeed, it will be the last home game in the careers of our Broncos seniors, so make sure you come out and give them one last raucous environment at the stadium. Kickoff scheduled for 2 p.m. And that's going to do it for us this week on Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan saying join us again next week. Same Bronco time, same Bronco place.